live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. I'm your host, Ed Nunez, along with producer Aldi Niwani. For our special guest today, Sandia girls head basketball coach Lee Kettig. Coach, we appreciate you joining us in the middle of your world history class, and you gave me just a little bit of a tutorial. 6 wins since then. You've got West Mesa, Farmington, El Dorado, La Cueva, Piedra Vista, and then West Mesa again. It's going to go so quick. The district season already is gone. You've gone through that real quick. Tell us a little bit about this year's season.
Ready to work. We have the luxury of our boys coach here. He allows us to scrimmage against our JV boys all the time, and they beat us. Missed a rebound on a free throw from them, and Tob. So they got that, gathered it right in. They're up 4. We come down, miss a shot. They get in transition, and now they're up 7. And we weren't able to come back from that.
They're unbelievable. They have great ball. I don't know how many of them are left now. Is there 3 of them still?
No. So the oldest one, 13. The oldest one remaining at school is number 13, and then number 23 is the youngest sister. There's 2 of them there.
Okay, so they'll the other one that graduated was really good too, but high basketball IQ. Don't get rattled. They don't get rattled. They're very good basketball players. So I think, we said that early in the season. I remember my ProView colleague Roger Holian covering the game against Sandia or against Volcano Vista, 82-53. And I remember Roger saying that a signature victory to jump out because Coach Villarreal, with regardless of girls or boys basketball, is one of the best coaches in the state of New Mexico. 5 state championships. She's since recovered though. They started out a little bit rough. They did. I said this, and their guards are very good. But when you lose Bates and Chavez and you lose players like that, that was a special. In Kennedy Brown, that was a very special. Benali's young sister, Hope Giddings, Audrey Wright. You've got some Sydney Benali, Jolie Felix. You've got some veteran players that have been there, that have been down that road and know how to handle big games like that. Not too high, not too low. And I think the victory against Farmington showed that. Again, because, it's tough to lose. You want to measure yourself against the best sometimes, against Volcano Vista. And you came out, and that was big. I remember Roger saying that. That's a big victory to start the season, but there's more to go. Yeah. But I think the season will say this about
they're choosing to stay together is what allowed us this year to not, panic when we lost at Metro. And those 3 have been through a lot and have chosen to stay together. And then we've got several players. Nadia Randall's another junior, and Olivia Montano's a senior, and Chloe Brown has been through a lot of games at this point too. And you mentioned Sydney's little sister. And so those 3, basically, like I said, choosing to use their experience to stay together, to stay and it's gonna come down to whether we can do it or not. Lisa's always going to be ready, like I said, and then our own district with Farmington and La Cueva, and it is just a huge challenge, not to mention El Dorado. So it's anybody's game. I just am, like I said, really, really happy and excited to just watch how my girls navigate through it, because I believe this year there's just a huge jump as far as their maturity level and their perspective. And I think that those are the things that are going to make us a real tough out this year.
It's been a tough out every year. I think any coach, you'd mentioned Coach Carpenter and Coach Villarreal, both, great coaches. Coach Ellis in the district would say, with the lineup you have, and, I'm looking at Hope Giddings, whose dad, Chuck, and I are very, very good friends. Good man. She's a junior. Seems like she's been there forever. So she's been there. As a freshman, she played a lot. Sydney Benali is a junior. Veterans that you have. Audrey Wright. Don't let me forget about her. Audrey Wright's been, Joe Wright, you got him as your statistician. Joe Wright's always around the program, always see him, and you've got a lot of great parental support. So when you look at that core there that have been together, somebody said this to me about Coach Woody at Hodden, his team's togetherness, how they are together as a team. And I could say that about that core that I just mentioned, Wright, Giddings, Benali. They seem like, and then in the summer, they get together and play their own AAU. I know Coach Giddings has a lot to do with that. That helps. They're in situations, trust on defense, the communication. Do I trust my teammate to be in the right place? So I think all those things, you're right.
Sydney's sister, it just hit me the other day. she turned 14 the other day. So times have changed. And the good thing for us is that when those kids came in and they earned their spots, and when they came in and earned their spots, it allowed them to have this huge opportunity to play a massive amount of varsity games. And it's different. It's different than how it used to be. And what I hope for my girls is that it really start to pay off, because they've been in, almost every one of these circumstances before. And I think we're starting to see it. I think the response after Metro from my kids speaks for itself. They didn't get mad and sad. They got better. And I was happy for them, but I wasn't surprised, because I see them every day. I see them 6 times a week. I see the difference in them. So, we're ready to, West Mesa will be our last game of the first rotation of district. And then after West Mesa, we go right up to Farmington High School on Friday, and where it kicks in. It's difficult for adults to improve in that atmosphere, never mind teenagers. And so for me, I think we're in the correct district to be. And I remember during those times talking about West Mesa, they would be in these battles with Piedra Vista, and we're in our district, and we weren't getting challenged much, and we would lose in the first round of state. We'd get a decent ranking and lose in the first.
Good ball movement again.
Beautiful ball movement leads to that Joshua Jackson, corner 3.
Joshua Jackson.
Adams with the answer on the other end.
Long 3 to Green. Inside, and she's bumped, and she throws it up, and they count it.
What?
Kick it up. Big man down low.
Oh, what a block.
Proby Networks, he always talks about you got to weather those runs. Jaden Johnson to Kevin Archer. Oh, what a block.
Time to get serious, Steve. Poked away by Steverson. Get out your cameras. Hammer time for Daniel Steverson on the steal and the dunk.
Hornets can foul right now. They got some.
They have a bunch of fouls to give. Mask for 3. That might be the dagger.
I'll tell you.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here, and I'm Devin Dampier, the Lobo football team.
Every 15 seconds, International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family.
Sydney Benally at 20 points, and Hope Giddings, I believe, at 12 or 13. Is that 13? 12.4, I believe. Also, she averages 3.8. Hope Giddings rebounds. Audrey Wright, 9.4 points, 4.9 rebounds. Liv Montano, 8.1 points. The little sister, the little Benally, averages 7.4 points already. Kaya Benally, she already averages 7.4 points a game as an 8th grader. Again, when I think Hope Giddings is still your point guard, is correct? She runs your point.
No, Sydney runs.
Sydney, okay, but those two there, you can count on both of them to bring the ball up. It's Sydney brings it up, but Hope still got some that her being a lefty. I always a smart player, a very smart player, and a good shooter, good player. Again, veterinary Mike Brown. They come from a great tree. Tell us a little bit more about your roster.
Yeah, so Danny's in the classroom right next to me now. So yeah, but I am surrounded. But
oh, I'm sure.
No, it's great to have actually moved over to this hallway, and we have a great rapport. But I guess we could start there. So Chloe is a coach's daughter. You mentioned, I can't remember if it was on air before, pretty much depended on for most things. And her willingness to do what the team needs is outstanding. The other starters, Nadia Randall, we call her Juice, is somebody that is incredibly selfless as well. She's
6.9 points a game.
Yeah, she's somebody that on a lot of teams in the state would play a guard, but we're a little team, and Nadia is tough. Juice is tough, and she plays our quote unquote post. Very instinctual scorer, I would say. You don't have to run sets for Hope. Hope understands how to get open, and she's has great instincts scoring the basketball, and she often will be the person, if we're having an icy start to a game, she'll often be the person that breaks that ice, right? That makes the right cut, that gets the first shot in. And if we're not shooting well outside, she's the one to take it to the basket and get to the foul. And just very, very instinctual scorer, as I see. And there, Audrey is pound for pound our strongest kid.
Really?
Oh yeah. And when in the summer, when we were playing at Section 7, out in Arizona, big tournament, we're playing people from all over creation. I didn't have to tell her. She was finding the biggest, baddest person out there, and she was playing them tough.
Takes on that challenge, that physical challenge.
Yes.
Wants to be assigned to that.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And so for us, she does amazing things all over the floor. But ultimately for us, we're not big, right? And so ultimately for us, if there's a big imposing player on the other team, Audrey's going to be the one to get the first shot at her. And I think she's really taken to that. You can just see it in her body language. Like she might not tell you, but you can see when she's taking those kids on that she's just like into it. And so, if we play Volcano again, she'll have another chance to guard TT, whoever it is, right? She guards defense. And if they don't punish them defensively, it's about staying connected, making sure we're talking, we're doing all those things. But our biggest thing every single game is we need to defensively rebound the basketball. We need to defensively rebound the basketball all the time, because if you don't against Hobbs or Volcano or whoever, right, against the girl from the Anatielu, the long one, we're going to play on Friday. If you don't find her, those it's like Sampson from Houston says their best offense for Houston University is a missed shot, right? And we're little, so if we don't defensively rebound all the time, I don't believe we'll reach where we want to be. So the team has to buy into that. They all have to box out, and if the